The story of Hedon says, there once was a couple with 7 sons. They lived a life of poverty. One day, the father had an idea. He would immigrate to another country to find work. They all departed. After many miles of travel, the children began to feel tired and refused to walk any farther. The first son asked his father to make him a house of wood. He stayed there, and the others resumed their journey. Then the second son asked his father for the same thing, so he built him a house too. The other children followed suit until only one was left. The family, by now reduced to just his father, mother, and the 7th son, whose name was Hedon, walked on until his one remaining son could no longer walk. He stopped. Father, he asked, build me a house of iron, I shall stay here. The father did his best, and he and the mother were left to proceed on their journey alone. The gulls were tracking them. They ate the sons one after the other until they reached the last one, who was hiding inside an iron house. They tried to break in, but failed. When the gulls despaired, they went to live in the nearby forest, except for their old half-blind sister called Mama Gola and her ugly daughter. They waited around for Hedon to come out so they could eat him. One day she went over to the iron house. Hedon, she yelled, we're neighbors, you've nothing to fear. Let's go together and collect some fruit in the nearby forest. My basket is torn, came the reply from inside. I'm repairing it, Mama Gola. Wait for me. The half-blind Gola returned to her hut and waited. Meanwhile, Hedon went out to the forest and brought back some fruit. When Mama Gola and her daughter went to the trees, they found no fruit. She tried again, Hedon. She shouted, let's go and bring water from the spring. My water skin's torn. I have to repair it first. Wait for me. She went back to her hut and waited for a long time. When he did not appear, she went with her daughter to the spring and found the water muddied and full of dirt. So, she told her daughter, it must be the wicked Hedon who has done it. Mama Gola thought up all sorts of tricks to trap Hedon, but he always outwitted her. In fact, he started laughing at her and making her life unbearable, so she wondered what trick would get rid of him. She went to see an old man who was renowned for his cunning. What can I do, she asked, to catch Hedon? You must find an old man and get his brain painted on the back of Hedon's donkey. He'll get glued to it. Then it'll be easy to catch him. Mama Gola thought for a minute. You're the nearest, she said. She killed the old man and took his brain. She painted the back of Hedon's donkey and waited for him to go out to the spring. When Hedon got stuck, Mama Gola surprised him and finally managed to catch him. Please don't eat me now, he begged her. You can see how thin I am. Give me time to get fat. I won't let you go. That's not what I mean. If you want to find enough flesh on me, shut me in a jar of dates and put a pestle in with me. I'll knock on the jar when I have finished the dates. When he had become strong, he knocked on the jar with the pestle. Now, she said, I'm going to eat you. But there's too much fat in me. Why don't you invite your brothers? She liked the idea and called her daughter. She told her to keep an eye on him until she returned with her brothers. When the Gola went into the forest searching for her brothers, Hedon was left alone with her daughter. They started talking. My mother's asking me to make a meal for you, she said. The man started telling her nice stories full of weddings and married bliss. Then he told her how beautiful she was, except that her hair was disheveled and kept falling over her beautiful face. It needed cutting. She said she had no knife and could not manage it with her awkward claws. He immediately offered to help so that everyone would be very jealous of her. She came over to him. He grabbed her hair and slit her throat. He took off her skin and put it on. He quickly cut her up into pieces and cooked her in a big pot. When the Gola returned with her brothers, Hedon shouted to them in a faked voice, You are very welcome for dinner, mother and uncles. He offered them a large plate full of meat. Mama, he said, now that Hedon is dead, give me that key to his hut. She handed it to him, and he walked out. Outside, he started collecting the wood and singing, Mama Gola's eating her own daughter. She heard what he said, catch him immediately. She ordered her brothers charged out to look for him. Come and catch me, he shouted at them. I'm under the pile of firewood. They all jumped on the pile and fell in the trap. He then set the pile of wood on fire and burned them all. He ran off, laughing at the half-blind old Gola.